So Sniperwolf has gone back on a word for like the millionth time, and well, it's no surprise, is it? With her idea of quitting being a couple of Instagrammable drinking events, as well as just turning comments off, and once again, we're not having it. We've also had Jacksfilms respond on his Sniperwolf bait channel, speaking out not only about the Sniperwolf situation and content, but also talking about the future of his channel, which is both interesting and a definite force for good. Incredibly as well, I found a very recent instance of a massive YouTuber who's been fully demonetized doing the exact same thing that Sniperwolf does, but he just does it a bit better, which further shows how incredibly crazy this favored treatment from YouTube to Sniperwolf is on this platform. So where do we go from here? So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. I'm Jit Baz. We cover the weird and wonderful on the internet, and once again we're going to be doing Sniperwolf. I feel like I'm going a bit too hard in this situation, but people seem to be very interested in it, so as long as you're interested, I'm going to keep doing it. So yeah, after 7 days away, the little rat has crawled back into the room. So we're going to talk about her changing her mind more than I do when I decide if I'm going to drink or not on a Friday night. Since the doxing situation has kicked off, she's flip-flapped around YouTube terms of service and definitely has removed herself from being accountable, bouncing from scandal to scandal that we've all covered, and sliding around like she's wearing shoes made of banana peels. With the lawsuit, the terrible Amigo video that came out, and the way that YouTube has handled this entire situation, I would have thought that her quitting would actually be somewhat legitimate. But it's not, and well, we'll get into this. But first, Jacksfilms has actually responded on his YouTube channel, giving an update again, shedding some light around the situation, as well as explaining what is the future of his channel. So of course, I'm going to show you that first. Also, like usual, if you do enjoy the video, please do hit the like and subscribe. I'd love to see you back, and well, it really helps me a lot.
These last few weeks have been pretty rough, to say the least. Aaron and I are okay, but we're just in this weird limbo of scared to leave our home and strongly considering moving. So it hasn't been great, but we both want to thank you all for your incredible support during this time.
This really doesn't strike me as a surprise. Like, I mean, obviously she has exposed where he lives to the world, the entire world. Every single night I would be worrying myself if I was in that situation about what's going to happen across the night while I'm asleep. So it makes a lot of sense that he is going to move out. But obviously the fact that he has to do this in the first place just indicates how terrible of a situation this is and what Sniperwolf has actually put someone through. Being forced out your own home for no other reason than you have literally been doxxed by someone is a horrible state to be in.
I'm deciding on what to do with this channel and how to move forward, but in the meantime, there's something I'd like to try that's consistent with our mission of crediting the creators.
The fact that he hasn't even mentioned Sniperwolf here, but he still managed to dunk on her by saying, we're still going to credit the creator. I mean, really, this is where this entire thing came from. It was one, the lazy reaction content, and two, the fact that nothing was being done about it to make it any more interesting than what they are.
If you're a creator and you're open to the idea of me watching your work live on stream, providing critiques and feedback and tips, then please send us your stuff.
So for him to, even in this horrible situation, to try and be still a force of good on YouTube, it's really commendable. I've also seen a lot of people in the past couple of weeks potentially saying that, well, he brought it on himself because he did 50, 60 videos on Sniperwolf. And yeah, he kind of did. All he was doing was pointing out the flaws that are within Sniperwolf's content. He's been doing this the entire way through, and she hasn't updated anything at all. She hasn't tried to improve the editing. She's not tried to include better reactions. It kind of shows that she's not doing anything about it. So yeah, she obviously, when someone's doing this that's such a large creator, it will piss her off. But at the same time, instead of being pissed off and resorting to something like doxing, which is obviously terrible, maybe just give a little bit more of a moniker of shit about it, instead of just snapping, doubling down, and then doing this.
We're also going to play bingo with your videos. There are spaces like great thumbnail, editing goes hard, chat loves your vid, etc.
Once again, just another dunk. I love that he's doing the bingo stuff still, because that is actually hilarious. But yeah, he's just dunked on her again.
Most importantly, I'll only react to videos from creators that consent to me reacting to them.
Only if there is consent. So yeah, even with the seriousness of the video, he's still managing to just rip her to shreds. So yeah, he's trying to bring a very good force to YouTube. Obviously, the whole situation's going to be off. The entire thing's tapped. She is tapped.
And whatever happens, I hope to keep our message intact of crediting the creators.
And yeah, closes off with another offhand remark. I love it. So what he's doing is a good idea. It should be good for people. It's quite uncertain what's going to happen, but I do think that it's a majorly good thing to happen on the channel. Sniperwolf is probably laying on her bed right now, praying to God that he doesn't come back to her. At least that's what you'd think, because I thought she quit, didn't she? Well, no, she didn't quit. She didn't. So my Sniperwolf vid from a week ago, I got quite a lot of people saying it was clickbait, and it actually wasn't clickbait because she did literally quit YouTube. But now I look like a mug because she's coming back. It's only taken her, what, 7 days. And this was confirmed by Aaliyah on her Snapchat story where she posts this. You still put out YouTube videos? Haven't seen you on my feed in a while. I'll go back to uploading more next week. So rejoice all Sniperwolf fans, we have finally got videos again. But really, she has been uploading the entire time. As you can see from her channel, she's still uploading every couple of days. And at the time I had people saying to me, oh, she didn't quit. Look at, she's still uploading. And yes, she has been uploading, but people need to remember that with these massive channels, these massive corporations, especially with what she's doing, you know, with the timeless content that'll just constantly farm and it never gets old. Well, the fucking videos do, but content doesn't. These large channels that do stuff like this, they will always have content in a backlog. So the entire way through, the videos have been posted after she said that she's taken a break. It is because of the fact that she has been doing this. They're just old videos. So from my understanding, her essence of quitting was just doing a week and waiting for things to blow over. And the entire way that she's handling this is just insane. Remember that in her quitting post, she didn't say sorry to Jacksfilms. She said sorry once on the original thing that could have potentially been AI generated. And yeah, she blamed mental health on the reason why she's going away. But just for a generic rule of thumb of what I've experienced, I think having less than 7 days off is probably not a good idea if it's about that. Realistically, I think you've come to some conclusion with YouTube in the background and have just decided, all right, it's time to start again. But also, her mental health break seems to revolve around drinking, which, I mean, it's not really a good combination. As since she quit, she's posted 2 Instagram photos. One with her equally horrible and slimy sister, where they're enjoying a Red Bull, which I can only imagine is somewhat product placement, considering the only tags on this actual photo go back to somewhere in Las Vegas. So she's still making a bit of money on the side. And also a Halloween post, which she seems to have dressed up as a Playboy bunny, I think. I've never seen a Playboy bunny in my life, and I will never see one again. One of like the oldest copy and paste tricks in the book for Halloween. If you're a woman at least. I don't think you want to see me in one. But yeah, with the caption, getting loser, we're going shopping. Actually, turns out she's not a Playboy bunny. It's a movie character, but I can't find anything with the movie character having ears, so I don't know where they've come from. But yeah, flexing a pink Ferrari, having a lovely time. And I'm not going to shit on her at all for having a good time. Definitely go and do it. But considering what you are currently in and what you've done to someone else, flexing on Instagram about how good a time you're having when you're taking this supposed break where you can reflect and learn from your actions, I just find it a bit distasteful and a bit insensitive. As you can see from the post a few days ago as well, people are not very happy with her still, looking good to Doxx Jacksfilms, which obviously in typical Aaliyah fashion would mean that her comments are turned off on the latest post. Seems like a very easy way to avoid scrutiny without getting your back blown out. So yeah, go out, do stuff, have fun, but maybe not brag about it. Which, with the comments turning off as well, it's not just Instagram that this has happened. This has obviously happened on YouTube. A lot of people know about this. It's been going on for a while now, but she's turned all the comments off so she can avoid any scrutiny possible, which is also coincidentally why she's turned off her comments on Instagram, which definitely you probably should do in a similar situation. It's gonna evade any scrutiny from you because nobody can talk about it because you've hidden everything. But this is essentially the equivalent of like putting your fingers in your ears and going la 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 and just expecting to not hear anything. What you've done is so crass, snide, horrible, and you deserve the punishment that you get from people being somewhat volatile in comments. I know there's been some very extreme types of people, which happens in every situation, which is definitely not right. People shouldn't be asking, oh, let's dox her instead. Don't do it. Don't stoop on that same level, but maybe just think about your actions. But this also leads me on to a perfect example of YouTube once again deciding, oh, well, let's try and help Sniperwolf in some way, but let's not make it obvious. A new YouTube feature may let you pause commenting on videos. And the crux of this is that existing comments are still viewable, but the commenting is entirely or temporarily paused. And what this essentially means is if you've got a video that's gone out and you've got maybe 1,000 comments, and then you can just press pause and everyone could still see them 1,000 comments, but they can't comment themselves, they can't reply. It's just sat there in some sort of like odd time machine. And you might be asking, why, Jake, does this relate somewhat to her? Well, don't you think it's a little bit coincidental that 2 weeks after this, where she started disabling her comments on her recent videos, so everyone started steaming into her comments on her older videos and putting hate, that following all this new feature comes out? YouTube have already previously changed their terms of service to say that, oh, we can't handle anything off platform to fit SSSniperwolf's agenda. That happened after the doxing situation, which, bear in mind, many other creators have been banned on YouTube for stuff that they have done off platform. So the entire idea of this, it was essentially for SSniperwolf. And in my opinion, I think it's the exact same thing here. She can pause her comments on all of her videos, so people can still see the original ones that are like, oh, they're relatively nice, but not about the actual drama, and not like the old stinky ones. This also kind of hides the fact that you've turned comments off in the first place. I know if you go to try and comment, it will obviously say that you can't do it, but it seems a little bit sneaky to me. This is in YouTube beta testing, and I really do think that they are going to try and pull this out to be a card that can help SSniperwolf when she starts to turn comments on it again. You can pause them, you can filter them, and you can make sure they're squeaky clean. It's just yet another way that SSniperwolf can hide behind the veiled curtain and just not peek through. Quite frankly, I find that ridiculous. But yeah, you know, I mentioned at the start about a content creator that's also been demonetized around the exact similar sort of videos that SSniperwolf does. Well, here he is, Mr. L. Boyd. He is a reaction channel that does reaction content on everything and anything. I watch him on some of his other channels, but to be honest, I didn't really even know that this channel existed. But this heavily coincides with the SSniperwolf situation because he's quite literally just been demonetized. And well, I'll let you hear it from him himself, because in his final video, my last video, he explains it all.
YouTube has officially decided that this channel was no longer viable and has removed it from the YouTube Partner Program. And mainly because of, they're saying it's reused content. Guys, this is a reaction channel. This has always been a reaction channel.
And the two main things that he states around this is the communication breakdown with YouTube, as well as he probably actually knows the reason why this happened, and it's because of a certain short that he did that was mainly just a reaction with his face in the bottom. But I presume he didn't do anything that's somewhat transformable. Which, just quickly to explain, like, transformable is what I'm doing now. I'm showing you a clip and then I'm talking about it, as opposed to like what typical reaction channels do. SSniperwolf, she'll just upload it, just stare at it for a minute and then just go, wow, that's crazy, and then just move on. So yeah, he says it's around a short video that YouTube actually told him to upload, start uploading more shorts, and they've retroactively gone back on this old short and thought, oh, well, we need to demonetize him because he's just nicking content. So this massive YouTuber with 5,000 videos on his channel has had the entire backlog demonetized because of this. Which is just crazy, because I could count on fucking 5 million hands the amount of times that SSniperwolf has just gone through a video, barely said anything, not really made it transformable content, and uploaded it, and YouTube fucking love it. Meanwhile, this reaction channel potentially just did a short which could have been arguably not transformable content. It might actually not have been, but because of this one thing, he's had the entire backlog and his entire other channels demonetized fully, with no explanation around it. And do you want to know why I think that SSniperwolf has not been demonetized in the same way? Well, she should have been kicked off, as we know, but why it took him so long for her to get demonetized, and it's not actually for the reason about her videos not being transformative, but his has gone straight away. Well, it's definitely favoritism, because if you look at his channel has between 10 and 20k views a video. Meanwhile, SSniperwolf, she'll pull in 5 gazillion views every fucking video, and she uploads on multiple channels daily practically. So she's earning them a lot more cheddar, and she's one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. So because of this amount of money's involved, I can just imagine that YouTube have given her definitely preferential treatment around it. And even still, this guy does talk at the start of the video saying what we're going to be reacting to, which in essence is actually giving a creator a chance, compared to SSniperwolf, who'll just nick a TikTok that has 1 million likes on TikTok and just upload it as her own. This to me is just another example of SSniperwolf getting off the hook by YouTube, which, as I've explained it earlier and in previous videos, this seems to be so consistent that you get to a point where you're like, they're seems to be something going on here. At first, I thought Sniperwolf was just getting good treatment from YouTube because of the views, but I actually think it's more so of, yeah, she's also the darling of YouTube. Despite how many controversies she's been in, she should have been, because of the transformativeness of the content taken away, she should have never been there in the first place, but because of all this, she's now in this privileged position. And that to me is so wrong. Like, we're all working for ourselves. This is nothing to do with any employer that's higher above. This is definitely a choice on YouTube's part, I believe. And it's so upsetting to see a YouTuber that has been demonetized for doing the exact same thing that Sniperwolf does, whilst giving credit, with actually more reactions to it. Meanwhile, Sniperwolf could do this shit content, which gets pumped to millions of viewers, who she doesn't credit anyone, and get away with it. And the fact that she's been demonetized now, as I said, that is not why she got demonetized. So hey, that content still stands, does it? YouTube really need to have a long look in the mirror and realize what they're doing on the platform. This is a really bad thing to me. I think that this is only going to spawn out so many other channels that think they can do the same. But even if they could do the same, which I don't believe they could from showing this instance and also how Sniperwolf is getting pushed, that's not right, because transformative content has to be transformative. It can't just be putting your face on something and saying 2 words. So yeah, to me, this entire situation is crazy. We found out more instances of YouTube just trying to obfuscate the truth and to try and bend rules for Sniperwolf. So I mean, I'm only glad that Jacksfilms just fucking roasted her. But what do you guys think? Please do tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, once again, please like and sub. I would love to see you back on the channel. I've been Jake Baz, and I'll see you later. Take care.